Alright, time to find out what this psychopath is doing right now after school. Ultimately, Makoto never returned to class once lunch was over. Everyone clued into her absence during 5th period, and then during final homeroom, the teacher informed us all that she had gone home early owing to sickness. Dee came over to me right after homeroom ended. What is it? Sounds like we need to tell everybody what's going on. I think we just need to spill the beans. Sorry, I have something else I need to take care of. Or not. We're just gonna go see her. We're just gonna not tell anybody. I mean, I suppose that's an option as well. Dee left, not bothering to grill me further about why I had to turn her offer down. I'd wanted to go and console Misaki with the knowledge that someone had been impersonating her, but her alibi was solid, so she would probably be fine. More importantly, I need to find Makoto. Yeah, we need to put a stop to whatever is going on here. Definitely is just going to keep escalating if we don't. I headed towards the school gate. I'd already texted and called Makoto's phone several times with no response. I also called her family pretending that I was calling on behalf of the school, but they told me she wasn't there. So that just leaves somewhere out of doors then. Why would you word it like that? Just say outdoors. Or outside of the house, outside of the school. With no lead to go on, I had to search the entire city from end to end. First, I stopped by Central Park, but she wasn't there. I doubt she'd be in New York. Then I headed north towards the shopping district, glancing inside the restaurants and cafes where she could probably lay low for a while, but I still found no trace of her. Then westward bound, walking towards the town counterclockwise. Returning south to double-check the school and the beach nearby, Makoto was still nowhere to be found. Uh-oh. What the heck, have we seen this CG before? They're introducing a new one, and it's inside the freaking monorail. No, have we seen this before? It looks familiar. Maybe in Michiru's route? I don't know, but they should definitely use this more. With nowhere else to go, I'd idly paced around the monorail station, which lay closest to her house. The only option left was to wait for her at the station in case she took the monorail home. After all, actually waiting in front of her house would be a death wish. If she walked home or ended up just teleporting from somewhere, then I'd be running around for nothing. The monorail stopped at its usual fixed intervals, like clockwork, and I observed every last person who got off each time. Aside from the sun sinking on the horizon, nothing changed with each new train that stopped and departed. Watching the same scene play out ad infinitum like this felt like I was experiencing perpetual deja vu. I feel one step closer to Nirvana right now. Yeah, let's not kid ourselves, right? Bro suddenly appeared exiting one of the monorail cars that pulled out into the station. Yeah, I like how she just rides the monorail apparently all day. We're on that train. Oh, I'm looking for Makoto. My eyes went wide at Crow's words as the realization hit me. That's right, inside of the monorail car was my blind spot. Since it ran on a loop all day, the car had air conditioning and she wouldn't stand out amongst the throngs of people getting on and off at each station. She could lay low in there all day if she wanted to. If I haven't seen her, does that mean she's still riding the train? She got off, so she still isn't going home. Central Park, we've already been there. Dang it, we gotta get a ticket back to the US. Then I really must have just missed her. Or togetherness. Anyway, putting it? Nah, I'd say the opposite. I laughed at Crow's evaluation of the situation. I wouldn't have been able to find Makoto at all if I hadn't run into you. I'm sure things will work out between us somehow. I suppose, you know. That's what we do in this novel. We try to be optimistic here. Besides, the way things are right now, I have to confront her directly. It was perfect timing for me to run into Crow here, just like it was fated to happen. I really like the soundtrack they're playing. It adds a lot of suspense to this. Maybe I'll end up liking this route more than I thought. Who knows? I really am just curious to see what's going on with Makoto. I wonder if Loki, that's who it is that's inhabiting her watch, right? Loki Wonder if we're gonna get to see more of him. We haven't really seen him physically, so I don't know if he has a physical body or not. Bro, if you don't mind, I could use a little help from you. In response to Crow's question, I pulled something out of my pocket. It was a coin. Just a spot of gambling. That literally looks like the National Monument. Maybe we are going to New York. By the time I returned to Central Park, the world was awash with the red glow of sunset. The workers of the day were returning to peace and comfort of home, while the night people were steeling themselves for challenges to follow. Okay, I'm gonna make a prediction here, because he showed a coin, and he said he's gonna be gambling. So maybe he's gonna use the coin to get into the coin locker where she has her clothes and her stuff. I know that she has that one of the locations she teleports to, right? Maybe she's gonna try to run, and we're gonna like have her clothes so she can't really like get away from us. I don't know, just an idea. Hopefully that's not the case, because then I have to censor more stuff, and I don't like that. If it was winter, night would have started long ago, but right now it was summer's twilight, the hour of reckoning. The complete opposite of outside right now, because like, what is it? Like 5 o'clock. Like 5 o'clock, it's getting pretty dark, which is crazy to me. Still, this water line between night and day was a time where encountering other people out here was a rarity. No wonder it was so easy to spot Makoto, who was standing idly about in the park. Makoto! Makoto jumped when I called out her name. She was afraid. I expected her to run away if I said something careless, so I remained silent for a moment. I took the pocket watch in my hand so I could immediately rewind time if anything went seriously awry. And Makoto's own pocket watch was clenched in her hand. I realized that we were both doing the same thing. Geez, having this kind of escape route tempted us both with the possibility of running away. I'll say this first. I'm not angry, and I didn't come here to blame you. No, in fact, even if someone else is angry at you, I'll always be your ally. Spoke reassuringly to prevent her from running away, but I certainly wasn't lying either. Dang, she looks freaking distraught. Makoto clenched the watch in her fist, hung her head, and muttered quietly under her breath. Okay, I think I got that. Okay, so you're having thoughts that aren't pleasant, and you're starting to act them out against your will. I understand. I quietly nodded. Makoto still had some of her reasonable side intact today. As a result, Makoto had realized that what she had done, and getting awareness of her own strange behavior had left her terribly distraught and confused. Or perhaps she was terrified because she couldn't control herself. I should have tried to save you sooner, Makoto. Makoto, the watch is the cause of all of this. Makoto was wearing a facial expression which seemed to imply she had no understanding of the words which were coming out of her mouth. If she did understand and just managed to dispose of the watch, her problem would have been solved a long time ago. I don't think she can do that anymore. This was the price that came with that watch, or rather it was a sort of self-defense mechanism built into the watch, allowing it to take a human being as its host. No matter how much I tried to convince her, I knew she wouldn't budge, and that eventually I'd have to take the watch away from her one way or another. Her expression blank, Makoto repeated that question to herself. It was the watch's influence that made her smash that window. She impulsively thought of a crime to commit and immediately went and acted on that impulse. But that wasn't the kind of why Makoto was asking herself. Why did she smash that window while masquerading as Misaki? Why did she try to drive a wedge between me and Misaki? It was jealousy, wasn't it? It'd be embarrassing for me to explain it myself. I think you can figure it out on your own. Okay, so I'm guessing when her eyes look like that, that's like Loki? Maybe taking over her body? Because she also acts different when she's like that too. The corner of Makoto's mouth curled into a grin.
私じゃない女子と一緒にいると胸がチクチクするの。そっか、うん。悪くない。
Makoto giggled. She was giving off serious yandere vibes. I literally named... Was it the... 2 episodes ago. I literally named it Big Yandere Vibes. It's just weird to hear yandere vibes in this. This is a slightly different kettle of fish from that. Perhaps even the thing inside Makoto's pocket was misunderstood. Watch misunderstood her on this point. Makoto is honest to a fault. Even when comparing her to Miyu, Makoto cannot be beaten in terms of sheer straightforward honesty. So once she started feeling the side effects of the watch with that pressure weighing on her like that, Makoto ended up feeling jealousy for the first time, by way of Michiru and Misaki. It must have been confusing for her to feel that emotion for the first time. Crow floated down from the sky, having been lying in wait all this time. Makoto, if you're feeling any better, do you want to play a game with me? We can settle all this, regret-free with just a little spot of gambling. Both of us just need to wager something we never want to give up. Of course. Makoto seemed to be taking the bait. I'll bet my own watch. I figured you'd pick up on that. I mean, not hard to do so. Makoto grinned. She was being rather ostentatious in her curiosity about my own watch. You'll find out when you win. We got the coin that I had prepared. This is a good enough game for you. You've got 2 choices, head or tail. It's pretty straightforward, right? Makoto gave me another gentle smile. Wouldn't try to rig things against you or anything. Wow, this definitely feels like No Game No Life when they did a certain coin toss, if you guys have ever seen that show. She's not about to, what is it called, blood break? Hopefully she doesn't do that. That wouldn't be good. Because, I don't know what would happen if we, landed and it was even. Rose sounded exasperated, but naturally I gave her no response. When I handed the coin over to Makoto, she carefully examined it. Cocked my head to the side at her unexpected suggestion. Okay. What kind of rules did you have in mind? Okay. I feel like this is gonna be rigged, but sure. Probably would have had a slightly better chance of winning this way compared to just relying on luck. But thinking back to the showdown with Michiru made me wonder if she was planning to pull another trick on me. The eventual trick would be to have a second coin hidden, so she could have one in each hand and just show me the one I didn't pick. Let's see, this game that they're kind of changing it to reminds me of Future Diary. They did something similar into that. Very interesting. And I liked how, what was his name? Aru... I don't know. It was the one guy who's the detective. Okay, I'm not gonna say anymore actually, because I don't want to spoil anything. If you haven't seen that show or read the manga, go for it, okay? It's really good. I like both the anime and the manga. You cannot go wrong. Just don't do the English dub, because I will judge you. I don't have anything against English dubs, okay? Don't get me wrong. I just don't like that one. She wouldn't have time to prepare that trick beforehand. At Crow's mumbling, I turned my gaze to her. Even if Makoto was intending to cheat on me, I'd been intending to cheat on her all along myself, so I made up my mind. Alright, that's fine with me. I'm assuming we're gonna break the watch if we don't win. That's our way of cheating. I don't know how well that's gonna go. I feel like this is not gonna go our way. Without a hint of nervousness in her voice, Makoto flipped the coin into the air with her finger. The coin traced a beautiful arc around the air, rotating in front of Makoto's face and then falling back towards the earth. Makoto's right and left hands crossed over each other in the air, and then she grinned at me. Oh boy. Makoto was surprised at my complete lack of hesitation. Well, actually, I didn't see which hand you got the coin in at all. Makoto opened both hands, and her left hand there lay the coin. Promptly hurled my pocket watch against the ground. Just yeet and delete that. Well, that's the only time we can do that. Makoto's mouth curled into a grin. Okay, I'm just gonna skip over a little bit. 5 minutes ago, once again, I was witnessing Makoto become aware of her true nature of her feelings. I don't know. I'm still wondering if she can see Crow or not. I feel like she can, but she's just not pointing her out. While watching Makoto, I silently agree with Crow's words. From that point on, I challenged Makoto to another game without changing the flow of the conversation very much from last time. Same conversation from before repeated itself. That said, returning to the past didn't give any guarantee that Makoto would grab the coin with the same hand as last time. Even the smallest change to the past can result in a very different future. My method of cheating in this game, where I would ordinarily have a 50-50% chance of winning, was simply playing twice over. All things considered, I now had a 75% chance of winning. You would think so, but I have the feeling that she's not intending to let you win. Of course, I wonder what I'd do if the remaining 25% turned against me. Just like the last time, Makoto flipped a coin in the air. Then with the kind of agility my eyes couldn't keep up with, she grabbed the coin with one of her hands. Give me a second to think. It was at this point where I changed the flow of the conversation. We're playing a serious game here. I need to think about it so I can be serious about my final choice. Convinced Makoto to wait a little bit. Crow moved closer to Makoto just as we planned. This is where I think they're going to reveal that Makoto actually knows. Then she brought her face right up to Makoto's hands one after another and checked them. This was an airtight, 100% guaranteed way of knowing the outcome. Instead of using the watch to trick her, this time I used Crow. Since Crow's body never interacted with the physical substance of this world, it was easy for her to look directly at the coin in Makoto's hand. Crow stuck her head straight through each of Makoto's hands and floated back up to the sky above us. Alright. I replied to Crow with a couple words that wouldn't sound strange to Makoto, even if she ever heard them. Just as I suspected, Makoto wouldn't have come prepared for another coin exactly the one I gave her. Left. Makoto casually asked me to confirm my answer. If I didn't know better, that would have made me hesitate, but since I already knew the result, I wasn't phased at all. Yep, I choose left. Do me a favor, though, and open your right hand. If the coin is in your right hand, then I win. A perturbed look flashed across Makoto's face. This was one way of assuring me she wouldn't cheat by using a sleight of hand to transfer the coin to her other hand as she opened up the left. I'm not going back on my answer. Makoto resignedly opened her right hand. The coin was there. Frickin' cheater. We're both cheating. Crow and I both exclaimed in surprise. I instinctively glanced at Crow as she furrowed her brow and shook her head. Crow wasn't lying, then there was no room for doubt that Makoto had cheated somehow, but it was already too late to be wondering how she did it. It does appear you did. Losing a game that I thought I couldn't possibly lose had me dumbfounded. Could have stared at me. She was probably thinking, I wonder if he really will give me that watch. Crow stared at me too, as if she had something she wanted to tell me. Good grief. That's it then, I'm definitely no liar. I held out the watch. Makoto took it. The 2 watches. Then Makoto's gaze swept over the scenery, finally stopping where Crow was floating. You realize that too? Okay, so she didn't get vision of her until she had touched the watch. Okay, I just kind of felt like she knew she was there, but it seems not. I wonder, does ownership transfer? Can Crow still be loyal to us, or is she loyal to whoever just is holding the watch? I feel like that'd be a pretty big flaw. Chronos. Crow introduced herself with the same line she once said to me. There's no room for doubt that the ownership of Crow's watch had transferred from me to
ク
Makoto.
ロちゃんか。
Okay, so interesting. I wonder if we'll still be able to see her.
だからどうしてクロノスと呼ばんのだ。
Hadn't I seen this deadpan and second banana routine somewhere before? I was frozen where I stood. Now what was I supposed to do? I was so certain that the win would be mine, I hadn't even given any consideration to what would happen if I lost. And even then, my brain was desperately trying to find a solution.
時計の管理者か。それっぽいといえばそれっぽいけど。
Yeah, I don't know if this idea of giving her the watch was really good. Could have sounded only mildly impressed by Crow's pompous introduction.
まったく。まさかこんなことになるとはな。
So what would happen if the watch broke? Okay. So we break the watch, we go back in time 5 minutes. What would happen if we try to break it again? Will it just break and it'll repair itself? I don't know. Maybe that would have been a better option, making sure that neither of us had the watch. Bro gave me a glare of
お
disappointment.
さらばだな、ご主人。勝負に負けたショックで、今日はこれ以上は遊べないかな。じゃあね、レイ君。バイバーイ。
This chick. I want to say another word, but I'm holding myself back. Just like that, Makoto vanished by way of teleportation. Lesson learned, do not gamble. Learn from my example, because of that moment I had nothing left. Wow, we're fitting in an anti-gambling ad in here. Well, it's true though, don't gamble. It's a waste of money. You'll just end up in disaster. And then we're gonna have happy music after that, okay. Yeah, sure. Oh boy. A few days passed. After school, I went home earlier than usual and crawled into bed while the day was still young. Yeah. I mean, I think your only decision is just to go all in and then marry your sister. Just go for it. You have nothing to lose by this point. Losing the watch was one thing, but more than that, not having Crow around was too quiet for comfort. Nothing else in my life had changed. I went to school, attended classes, hung out with friends, and then went home. Every day played out predictably as ever in accordance with the movements of the hands of time. Being able to rewind time was a gift that had been dropped in my lap by pure happenstance. Having Crow in my life went hand in that as well. So it wasn't like I actually lost anything. No. I shook my head, making excuses for myself was pointless. The watch wasn't a huge concern, but I had also lost Makoto. From then up until now, I had been forced to stay away from her. I honestly don't even know if the watch is going to really benefit her a whole lot. If I got too close to her, that would just give an impetus to her uncontrollable emotions. There was always the danger she'd lash out like she did with Misaki. And most dangerous of all was entertaining the idea of trying to speak to another girl. I want to consult Miyu about the problem, but if Makoto happened to see us talking or had even the slight suspicion that I'd been speaking to another girl, there was no telling what she would do. Okay, I'm really glad though that the yandere vibes I was getting was actually 100% confirmed by the game. Like, they literally used the same wording I did. Like, that was incredible. I was so glad that I wasn't the only one feeling that way. So right now, there was peace in my life at school. But on the other hand, I had been hearing rumors about occurrences throughout the city, which was undoubtedly Makoto's handiwork. The girl with a fox mask, violence in the streets, and it was like a modern-day period drama. She had become a living urban legend. It wasn't just the bad dude spreading rumors about her exploits. The mysterious girl had even become the subject of gossip among other students at school. The way things were going, I expected Makoto would end up in the national news sometime soon. Moping about isn't going to help, though. I wasn't really moping about it. I just had no idea what in the name of hell I could possibly do about any of this. Her powers of transformation and teleportation had made her hard enough to beat now that she'd gotten a hold of Crow's time rewinding abilities and didn't stand a ghost of a chance to coin a phrase. When I had had that ability myself, it seemed like such a trivial thing, and now that it was in another's hands, I discovered the hard way about how powerful it really was. Even if just 5 minutes of time travel can make all the difference. Nothing else renders the idea of having to rely on luck completely moot. And the thought of being forced to relive a moment in my life even without realizing it was kind of terrifying. But I wasn't agonizing over it, rather I was mulling over it. Since there was still one thing I had left to gamble on, I found myself spacing out a little as I wondered how exactly to go about doing that. Well, it seems like she is using the watch. Okay, that was... that was a chapter. That was a very short one. Quite short, but... I'm trying to think. Okay, we're on 7, so this should be the final one. Makoto versus Rei. Okay, that's an ominous title. A few more days passed. After school let out, I naturally found myself loitering on the school rooftop. We seem to do that a lot. Hopefully Mia's not here. Michiru was getting seriously sick of me ignoring her, so she started following me around and barging into my room randomly. So going back home was out of the question too. I wasn't that upset, even I couldn't help but mutter oaths of complaint. Somewhere nearby I could hear the sound of someone playing the violin. Oh, there's another hint to Misaki doing that. I really like that they showed that. Never thought we had a club for such an elegant hobby like that, and whoever was playing wasn't bad at all either, but it was still hot out here.
暇そうだな、ご主人。
Honestly, I feel like Makoto's route should have gone before Misaki's. I feel like Misaki's would have been great to play after this one, seeing all these little hints, you know? I know hints of the Devil's Workshop Master. Interesting. A bit surprised by this unexpected guest, but I was happy to see her. Hey, wait, I'm not your master anymore, am
そう
I?
いえばそうだったな。
Is it alright for you to visit me like
ア
this?
ホ。時計に所有権があったとしても、我が輩は人間ごときに束縛される存在ではない。
Honestly, the complete freedom of yours just doesn't seem right. She wasn't making herself useful to anyone, not even our new master. But anyway, since you're here, I was wondering if you'd be able to convince Makoto to stop doing what she's
無
doing.
茶を言うな。あの女子は我が輩を説明書か何かだと思ってる程度だぞ。
I mean, that's kind of what you've been up to this point. I mean, you've helped us out. I'm not saying that you haven't. I'm just saying, as far as watches go, I mean, you've kind of just given us instruction on how it works in the various routes. Given that response, I think I have a good idea of how she treats
我
you.
が輩の話など耳を素通りだ。ああなると手のつけようがない。我が輩にお主のことを話せとせがむし、そんな姿で誘惑していたのかと怒るし。
Well, if she was trying to seduce us, it was working. Well, I guess she doesn't appreciate your beauty like I do, since she's the same gender. Given how Makoto's was old-fashioned in certain ways, maybe she didn't take too kindly to someone so provocative-looking like Crow.
そして困ったことに、誠に逆らえば時計を海に投げ捨てるとも言われておる。
Would that be a problem?
我が輩は自由とはいえ、時計を中心にしたある程度の範囲でしか動けないからな。
Crow spoke disdainfully.
海中見物も楽しいだろうが、我が輩は人の営みを見ている方が好みなのだ。
Fair enough. Well, even if you can't be my ally anymore, I'll settle for not being your enemy
お
either.
主こそ、我が輩を失ったのだから、もう少し危機感を持つべきであろう。
Yeah, but what are we supposed to do? We can't take it by force. And Makoto, I don't think will be seduced into letting us have it either.
なんでとは、なんだ
Crow looked at me incredulously. Well, when it comes to that watch, I know I just screwed up pretty bad. I mean, it's not like I'm some protagonist in a book or a TV show who only finds the answer to his problems in his past, or suddenly has a miracle dropped into his lap or something. Yeah, that couldn't be us.
もしや、諦めてふぬけているのか
No, not at all. Not like I could control what she thought about me, but regardless, this was the conclusion I'd come to after mulling over the problems these past few days. Talking to myself as always, indeed. In the end, nothing in my life has really changed. Of course, it'd be convenient if I still had the ability to turn back time, but I can solve the problems in my life even without that. I won't give up just because I failed once. Humanity is made to endure hardships like that. That's just the way it is. So I think it's a shame that I've lost the watch, but I don't care anymore, and that's that. That said, I've been a little lonely without you, Crow. At the end, I mentioned how important Crow was to me for the first time. If I wasn't so careless, I would have kept that part to
お
myself.
お、我が輩がいなくて寂しいのか。
Don't just focus on that. I made an important point back
う
there.
ん
Her face was expressionless.
もしかして時計がない方がまともなのではないか
Just trying to live the way Miyu does. I also think he has to be more aware of his decisions. He can't just say something and then have the chance to turn back time if it doesn't work out. That's right. If it's not for my experience with Miyu and Shuji at the beginning of the summer, my recent misfortunes would have been much harder on me. Anyone who looks upon the future understands that any failure encountered is just a stumbling block in the way to success. Yeah, sometimes.
ん
I think you can definitely make decisions that impact you now and for the rest of your life. They're not really things you can undo. Said something like that before, didn't you?
なるほど。
This time Crow grinned back at me. I was being completely serious about what I said. In fact, not having the watch anymore means this might be my last and my greatest chance to take down Makoto.
普通は逆ではないのか。
No, when it comes to negotiations, one party having too much wealth or power is a disadvantage. I remembered a bit of wisdom that both my father and grandfather had told me, which applied equally to running a business and running a country. I'd hoped that I wouldn't need this particular pearl of wisdom until I was older. Two parties on equal footing will always attempt to gain whatever advantage they can. If one is much stronger than the other, then they need to struggle for dominance, disappears. So maybe, like, she'll put her guard down? Is that what you're saying? Rat will fight to the death if it is backed into a corner, so all I can do is give the battle ahead my damnedest level of effort. Of course, since I'm at a big disadvantage, things would be different. Makoto truly intended to take me down, but if someone believes that they cannot lose, they will let their guard down without fail, no matter how careful they may be.
よくわからんが、諦めてはいないわけか。
I'm not enough of a coward to give up on the girl I've fallen in love with.
まあ、告白すらできていないからな。
Ooh, maybe that's what we'll do. We'll confess to her and get her off guard. Exactly. Or just tell me one more thing.
なんだ
When we played that game with the coin, why did I
異
lose?
能の成長。誠が瞬間移動の新しい使い方を覚え、それをあの時まで隠していただけさ。
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. She could have just teleported the coin. A new method, so you mean she can teleport things other than just herself now? Much the same way I kept my time rewinding ability a secret, Makoto had an ace up her sleeve as
服
well.
を脱げるのはともかく、携帯と財布が置いていかれるのが困るらしくて、訓練したそうだ。
So can she do both? Can she teleport herself and her clothes at the same time?
今はまだ小さなものしか移動させられないようだが。
So she's working on being able to teleport everything. I think the clothes are kind of important too. Hard to joke, but Crow's explanation made sense. The information cleared up a lot of the worries I'd had over the past few days.
どうする
If you can't win against her in a fair fight or by cheating, I have only one option left. Looked up at the big blue sky with a sly grin. Crow, I need you to pass a message along to
果
Makoto.
たし合いでもするつもりか
You're right, on the
な
money
ん
there.
だ真剣だったのか
Tell her to meet me in the park at
そ
sunset.
れは構わぬが、勝ち目などあるのか
Not in the slightest, I answered immediately. So I'm gonna have to turn the tables on her. I wonder what he has in mind. He's got to use the knowledge that he knows that she can do certain things against her. So the hands of time advanced a few more hours and evening came again. Oh. Interesting. Is that supposed to be Crow? Or is that somebody else?
赤い赤い赤い夏の夕暮れって私は大好き暑さで空が燃えてるみたいだしその先にある楽しい夏の夜がやってくるワクワクもあるしね
Makoto had a lilt in her step, almost as if she were dancing, and she wore an unshakable smile on her face. She truly thought she was invincible. Once darkness falls, the city becomes Makoto's own little world. In one hand, she clutched Crow's pocket watch with a vice-like grip, and Crow floated beside her wearing the fox mask. I've reached the final boss. I wore a crooked smile that belied my true feelings. Crow was adorable enough I never thought of her as an actual goddess before, but wearing that mask she looked quite intimidating. Those appearances are everything.
ちょっとご無沙汰だったねレイ君クロちゃんから果たし合いがしたいって伝言されたんだけどまだ私とやる気なんだ
Makoto was full of confidence. It wasn't pride or deceit I saw in her eyes. Either it was indisputable fact that I didn't stand a chance against someone who held as much power as she
ま
did.
た勝負してあげてもいいけどレイ君にかけるものが残ってるのかなそれがないと
In the middle of the conversation, Makoto's expression suddenly turned grim for no apparent reason.
そんなのダメだよ
After a moment, I realized that Makoto had just used her power to turn back time 5 minutes. Evidently, having already heard what I was about to tell her, she refused to believe it and tried to undo it. Oh. Wow, it's weird seeing it from a different perspective. See, this is what time travel looks like to the observer. And so, looks like you just ran around in time for a totally pointless reason. More than just feeling thankful for how she drew her ace too quickly like that, I was surprised. As I thought, Makoto had become so overpowered that she never considered the best way to make use of her newfound time-traveling ability, let alone whether said ability might have a fundamental flaw. Come now, Makoto, the watch used to be mine, you know, so I know what fundamental flaw that power is. You can never go back far enough to change the workings of someone's heart, especially if their heart is set on something to begin with. Turning back time by 5 minutes as often as one wished, such was a fundamental flaw in the watch. This will be the second time you hear this explanation, but to me, I haven't explained it yet, so hear me out. You're right, I want to play a game, and these are my weapons. I opened my hand to show her what I had in it. Resting my palm were 2 dice. We're rolling for numbers, pretty straightforward, right? We throw the dice and bet on whether the number shows up as odd or
そん
even.
なの知ってる 常識だよ。
So we're using the game that she wanted to play before. Maybe where you come from it is. I don't know myself, so I had to look it up on the internet. I don't have a dice cup, so just bear with it. You and I will each throw one
嫌
die.
だよ。
Makoto shouted, her expression a mixture of impatience and anger. I ignored her and continued my explanation. This particular part was the greatest importance. If I win, then you hand over Crow's watch to me along with your own.
レイ君が負けたら、私のことを諦めるでしょ。
Interesting. We're using her love with us as the bargaining chip. Makoto muttered as if the words were painful for her to speak. Right, if I lose, then I'll give up on you, Makoto. I affirmed her words with the most deadly serious look possible, so she knew full well I wasn't joking. I'll completely cut off contact with you and ignore you if you try to talk to me in class. The two of us will effectively become total strangers. Incidentally, if you try to forfeit the game right now, the same condition will apply.
普通逆じゃん。私が勝ったら、レイ君は私のものになってよ。
No.
なんで
Could have shouted at me. I couldn't help but smirk. This was the moment I've been waiting for. Though I guess I've been a bit too roundabout in getting to it. Because I love you. I love you, Makoto. I'll say that again. I love you. Wow, what an amazing confession, guys. So I will not be your plaything. I refuse to gloss over my feelings for you by becoming a possession of yours. I do not want to be a pet and underling, a servant, or a slave to you. I want to stand beside you as your lover. Makoto wore a grim expression as my confession fell on her ears.
私も、レイ君のことは好きだよ。
Oh, what a cute confession.
だけど、時計は渡せないし、勝負事で負けたくはないの。
As she spoke, she took one of the dice from the palm of my hand.
それが、私なの。
Yeah, that's the Makoto I fell in love with.
二人とも相手が好きなのに、変だね。
That's an understatement. I just want to confess to Makoto normally. Why did things have to turn out this way?
これ以上、言葉は不要か。
Rose' expression was stern as she clutched a die in her hand. I nodded back at her. Rolling dice was a game purely dependent on chance. The only way the fact that could be negated is if the one of us were to cheat. Lucky be a lady
ジョーか
tonight.
ハンか。
Even.
ハン。勝負。
Oh, I wonder what's going to happen. In Makoto's prompt, we both cast our dice. They bounced along the ground with tiny clattering noises, the wheel of fortune. Unlike the hands of a clock, its rotation is a completely randomized variable. Just as I was wondering if the dice would ever come to a total rest, the outcome of the game revealed itself. Oh, I don't know which one is which. Is the red one hers? Because that would mean I got an even, like I said, and she got an odd.
ヨイチの。ハン。
Is this really going to play out like No Game, No Life, where we're like, oh, do we both lose or do we both win? That was it. I couldn't tell if Makoto cheated, but if the Wheel of Fortune had favored her this time, that would mean I just didn't have the luck to beat Makoto and I gave him a chance.
これでおしまいか。
Or maybe we're the one who got the odd. I don't know. I heard another voice, so it wasn't Makoto but Crow. What does? My eyes remained fixated on the dice as I
お
answered
主
her.
の二度目の初恋が。だ。
Story of your second love. Suddenly, a single droplet fell on the ground. Is this our way of like baiting her? Because we know she doesn't want to give up on us. She doesn't want us to give up on her. She wants it to be mutual. Is this our way of like forcing her to give us the watches? Because the opposite would mean that she doesn't get to be with us, and clearly like it's magnified her feelings so much for us that like a life without us would be like cruel. And as the rain started to fall, the ground became stained with dark spots one after another. Looking up, I saw Makoto crying, almost like a child would, tears streaming down her face.
嫌だよ。最後の勝負。しかと見届けた。
At some point, Crow had taken off her mask, but was still sharply glaring at me like she was before she'd taken it off.
だが。勝ちたく。勝ちたく。なかったのに。
Makoto sobbed beside herself with disbelief. Crow watched Makoto for a moment, then she redirected her gaze towards
お
me once
主の
again.
望みや勝ち負けというのは好きな女子を泣かせるようなものなのか。お主がミュートの痛手で学んだことはこの程度の結果しかもたらさないものなのか。
I mean, what are we supposed to do? There's no nice option for this. The nice option would be if she just gave us the watch in the first place, and we broke it, and then we lived our lives. My eyebrows twitched at her vicious chastising. This is not the time for you to be lecturing me. The game's not over yet.
Nani?
Makoto's eyes went wide with surprise and motioned for her to move aside so I could stand in front of Makoto.
Heikun.
I took Makoto by the shoulders as she cried, pulling her face right in front of mine. Even while crying, her eyes were beautiful.
私
I just said the game's not over yet. The game's still afoot because I haven't heard an answer from you yet. I wiped the tears from Makoto's cheeks, gently smiling at her.
答え
Makoto, I love you. Will you go out with me? Makoto's face was totally blank as if she'd been possessed by a ghost. But
でも勝負は私が勝ったのにレイ君は私から離れていっちゃうんでしょ
it'll depend on what your answer is.
だって
Makoto, look at me. I made her gaze directly into my eyes. She would gaze at nothing else. So she needed gaze at nothing else. Don't overthink this on me. I just want to know one thing. Do you love me or do you hate me?
私もレイ君のこと好きだよだから私のこと誠のこと嫌いに
I just want to look at the CG real quick here. This has been a very, conflicting route. It's like, I don't even know how to feel sometimes about it. It went in a very different direction than I thought it would. I wonder if this is going to be the end. Is this going to be the end, or is there going to be more after this? I have no idea. I wouldn't mind if it ended here, though. If she just kind of, broke the watch herself, and then we kind of call it good, you know? And we can live our lives. I wouldn't say that's a bad ending, but I want to keep going and see what kind of ending we actually get. Ooh, first kiss. I kissed her. To stop her tears from flowing, to stop her shoulders from trembling, so it was my first kiss, so I had no idea if I was doing it right. I simply held her tight and put all my feelings into it. The tension quickly disappeared from her quivering body, and she returned my affections. She had such soft, girlish lips. The very first kiss I had in all my life was twinged with the taste of her tears. Our lips slowly separated, and then I saw that Makoto's cheeks were bright red.
キスしちゃったでもどうして
Well, the wind belongs to me, doesn't it? Look. I looked down at the ground. 1 and 1, even. Hence the win is mine.
なんて
I grinned at Makoto, who was clearly shocked. I didn't stand a chance against you if I played the usual way, so I made you want to lose.
私が負ける
You can freely manipulate the faces on the dice, right? You were hoping from the bottom of your heart not to be separated from me, so this is the result. You cheated.
イカ様じゃしょうがないかな
Makoto finally returned my smile. I breathed a sigh of relief. A man's greatest desire is not wanting to see the girl he loves smile, not to make her cry. I noticed that Crow had conveniently disappeared. I guess she finally read the situation well for once. By the way, Makoto, this seems like a bad time to
懐
ask,
中
but
時計のこと
you can hand them over to me now. We made a deal after all.
あなたがいればこんなのもういらないわ
Makoto showed me a smile warm as a summer's day. I returned a smile of my own. The story ends. Happily ever after, indeed. Is that it? That's actually the ending. That would be wild if that was the ending. That was a very strange way to end that. I could see why some of y'all were kind of iffy on the ending. Okay, let's watch this, and I'll give you my final thoughts, okay? And one particular Sunday later.
ねえ本当のところは
Gazing at the passing scenery outside the monorail window, hearing Crow's voice caused me to direct my gaze back inside. She was floating there wearing a stern expression. You know, I'm on my way to my date with Makoto here, so you don't need to follow me.
ドアホ我が輩がついてきたのではなく我が輩の乗っているモノレールにご主人が乗ってきたのではないか
Okay, whatever you say, Missy. Master, eh? Fidgeting with Crow's watch in my hand, I couldn't help but smirk. Only separated from Crow for a short while, but I realized just how much I appreciated her company. Well, anyways, you were asking something about the true events. I see why some of y'all said to do Makoto's route right before Crow. It kind of like feeds into it a little bit. How we're like learning to appreciate Crow more, and then we're gonna go into a route. I'm sure we'll see some references, possibly.
Makoto との最後の勝負。あれはどうやって勝ったのだ?
It's pretty much exactly as I explained it to her. The power of Makoto's love for me was great enough to exceed that of any divine power. Isn't that a good enough explanation for you?
お主がそんな殊勝な玉か?
So I'm guessing what happened was we said the game wasn't over. Okay, so we kept the game still playing. We ended up confessing our love. She kind of came to her true feelings, like, no, I don't want to win this, because if I win, he won't talk to me anymore. So by him confessing his love, she changed it back, or at least it ceased to be different, because it was just an illusion. And so at that point, Ray then looks at the dice and says, okay, now the game's over, because the true face of the dice is showing. How it should have been the whole time. I don't know. That's a pretty big gamble, though, if Ray would have known that. I don't know. I mean, I guess he assumed that she's always cheating, and that maybe he just had to do something drastic to get her to change. Okay. Like I said, I'm going to try to save my thoughts for the end here. Looked away, but I was still grinning from ear to ear. Well, if you're thrown into a battle you can't afford to lose, it's usually a good idea. Isn't a good idea to rely on something fickle like emotion. Thought back on that day. It was surely the most bombastic scene in all my life up until now. The moment when the dice lay at our feet. Oh, okay. Did he just flip it then? Okay, I thought maybe... I don't know. The way he said it sounded like it was or the way she explained it was like an illusion, and then he just kind of like forced her to change it back. So he just moved his foot. Okay. So he pretty much cheated because she was cheating. Okay. But really, I wouldn't want to destroy the romance of that moment by telling you the whole truth. Welcome back, Crow.
別にお主が我が輩の帰るべきところではないのだがな。
Even as Crow gave me another comeback, the smile on her face never faded. I have come home. Get off the train station by the park, parting ways with Crow. Today was a Sunday, so I wasn't heading to school. Checking my time on my phone, I headed towards the beach where I was meant to meet with Makoto. Yo, you're early. Came before the promised time and Makoto was already there waiting for me. Crazy early. Didn't you tell me you wake up at the crack of dawn every day, though? Didn't we do something like that for one of our dates? We woke up at like 3? So that waking up early, where I come from, that we call insomnia. Or maybe it was another girl did that for us. Was it Dee Dee? Did Dee Dee wake up at 3? There's only one way to put it. Makoto giggled at me. For Makoto, who had only begun to understand what it meant to love someone, it was the best way for her to communicate her feelings in that moment. Good grief. Seeing her as happy like that, her so happy like that, was making me blush. Yeah. Reaching in my pocket, I pulled out a watch. It wasn't Crow's watch, but rather the one Makoto had found in her cellar at home. Feels like such a waste, though. I'm joking. Smiling at her, I took the watch and threw it into the sea with all my strength. Glimmering in the summer sunlight as it soared through the air, it then landed on the water and sunk below the surface without fanfare. Someone else could always find it, though. It's best to keep those unpleasant thoughts to myself. Yeah, I like how she said mind, because that can't really take a load off her chest. Her chest is huge. Might have been better to destroy it, though. Yeah, you could say that. Makoto giggled even while she seemed troubled about the watch. The watch was, of course, made out of metal, so ideally just sink to the bottom of the sea would not cause any more trouble. If it did wash up on the beach somewhere, then it could cause more problems. I doubt. Alright, well, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Finding the watch would be a terrible misfortune for whoever might end up taking it on the beach, but I think everyone dreams of having that kind of adventure, even if it means enduring a bit of misfortune. Just like Makoto and I once did.
それじゃあふつつかものですが改めてよろしくお願いします
Makoto bowed politely, and that was that. Makoto insisted to me that until the moment we threw the watch in the sea, we wouldn't officially be lovers. Therefore, this was the moment our relationship became notarized. The feeling is quite mutual. Dating an old-fashioned girl like Makoto was a big commitment, especially when taking into account her unique family circumstances. In other words, she expected me to follow through to the very end. I would only love her. In all my life, I've never had a simpler problem to deal with before.
難しい話はおしまい
Likewise.
デートだデート
Makoto skipped along, holding onto my arm.
でももう相手のことが大好きだって分かって恋人になったんだからデートじゃないのかな
Yeah, you can still date each other even after you're married. What does it matter? There's still plenty of things we don't know about each other, so I call it a
な
date.
んだろうレイ君のその言葉がなんかエッチい気がする
I don't know, says the one who had the most ecchi route. If you're interpreting it that way, that makes you the lewd one.
時計のせいでおかしかった時のことは忘れて
Yeah, you literally exposed yourself to us. There's a memory of her showing off in her birthday suit for me on the rooftop at Come Back to Vine. Makoto was totally red in the face. So cute. So the first major goal I set for myself back then was graduating from my status as a virgin. Well, there wasn't any need to rush. That being said, I did make sure to stash Mr. Condom in my wallet just in case. Alright then, let's get
ま
going.
ず映画だね
Yeah, did you decide which one you'd like to see? Once again, I left the choice of which movie to go to in Makoto's hand. He doesn't care which movie they see, he just cares about if he gets lucky tonight. That's what I'm getting from this. And my question could have flashed big soulful eyes
そ
at
れ
me.
なんだけど
She wants to go see a Yakuza one. Getting a bad feeling about this.
私も思うところはあるんだけど今何を上映してるのかなって調べたらまたすごく見たいもの見つけちゃったの
You want to see again? You want to go see that one?
いいでしょ
Can't say no once you've fallen in love. I guess so.
だ
Could have left for joy and came right up in front of me, and then she held her hand to me. Think we get another CG? Like, dang, they just threw a bunch of CGs at us here in the end. I love it.
さあ行こ
Don't need to rush. Summer's only just begun for the two of us, so we can just take our time.
うレイ君は熱血が足りないな急がなくちゃダメだよ楽しい時間はあっという間に過ぎちゃうんだから
That's true. I think you're right about that. Suddenly I took Makoto's outstretched hand. Time and tide wait for no man. The constant flow of time never changes. Yet somehow falling in love seemed to expedite the turning of the clock. This was the most powerful kind of magic I knew. There we go. This is definitely a weird ending. I wouldn't say it's bad, though. I actually think this is a really nice ending. I like this quite a lot. I don't know. I can't really complain about it. This route was way different, and it's not what I would want, but I think it was unique enough that I enjoyed it. I genuinely enjoyed it. I think there was a lot of moments to actually like and enjoy about it. I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to complain too much. In the title menu, repeat has been unlocked. I'm guessing I can go through like the endings. Is that what I'm getting? I do want to give my thoughts about Makoto's route, though. I like I said, I definitely think it wasn't what I would want from Makoto's route. I would have rather had something different, more romantic, but they just kind of threw stuff there at the end and kind of called it good. I think what was there at the end was nice. I like the way he kind of won the game. I actually think that was pretty clever. And I'm not mad at it. I think it was the only way he could have won. And I like that they kind of built up to that. I think it was really good. Makoto's route was actually shorter than I thought it was going to be, too. I'm trying to think, like, how many episodes has this been? Like, is this the fourth? I think this is the fourth episode, so it's really not that long, I don't feel like. I feel like the other ones are at least 5. But I don't know. yeah, I wish they would have done less with having her kind of go yandere, or I wish it would have been more actual yandere, I guess. If you were gonna go that route, like commit to it. This game, I don't feel like really wants to do too much violence. It kind of acts like it happens sometimes, but it's kind of afraid of it per se. Like they just kind of knock people out. It feels like a hero that like doesn't want to kill anybody, you know? Like those are never good stories. I don't really care for villains who aren't willing to kill. I just don't think it makes for a good story. But I don't know. I definitely could have done without the etchiness of it, or at least not show it so I didn't have to see it. Um I don't know. I almost don't want to say this was a bad route. I really don't. I actually want to say this was actually a good route. It was definitely something different than all the other routes, and I actually think it stands out pretty well. I think it stands on its own. Uh, so I'm just gonna say it was a good route, and I didn't think I was gonna say that, but it was actually quite entertaining. It was frustrating, and I feel like sometimes frustration can make for a good ending because you're glad that it kind of got solved. I don't know. I'm not gonna say it was a great route. I'm not gonna. I don't even know if I'd say it's a good route, but it was worth seeing. How about that? We'll say it was good enough to see. I'm definitely excited though, because Crow's route is next, so we're gonna be playing Crows. That's for sure. So you'll see that from me soon. Definitely looking forward to it. I don't know which route have I liked the most. I actually think Dee Dee's. Is that bad? I actually like Dee Dee's route the best. I can't believe I would say that. Dee Dee's route was actually one of my favorites. Um, mainly for the ending. I feel like the ending of each route was probably the strongest point. I would almost say Misaki's route was the weakest. I feel like Misaki's route just kind of dragged. There was a lot of just like practicing and trying to like understand her feelings. I actually felt like I related to it. Kind of, but not at the same time. Um, so I don't know. I'd probably say hers was the weakest. I would probably put Dee Dee's at the top because I really liked kind of the ending. Um, but even that one was really great. I would say so far none of the routes were like phenomenal. Like none of them like blew my mind compared to other games. But I enjoy the characters enough and stuff to play. So I'm really hoping Crows like kind of like knocks my socks off, or even whatever ends up happening with Miu at the end. I really hope that's. I hope the whole story I'm getting is conclusive, because I don't know. I do and I don't like this game. I like it enough to play, and I like a lot of things about it, but none of the routes have been like I said, phenomenal or anything. There's just been moments. There's been a lot of great moments, but not really necessarily great overall. Is what I'd have to say. So we're gonna go ahead and check out the title screen real quick, and I'm gonna end the video there. Oh, what the? Okay. That completely changed. Interesting. Okay. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna end it here. So thank you for watching. That was Makoto's route, and I'm gonna be going on to Crow's next. We're gonna see if that route is fire, and then we're gonna be doing Miu's after. So hope you guys will join me for the next episode, and I shall see you then.